lightweights who are all jockeying for position underneath European champion Billy Schwer and Commonwealth holder Bobby Vanzi, the man who also ripped the British belt from Manchester's craggy-faced and hardened Wayne Rigby, who here continues on that long road back against Hartlepool's Alan Temple. Rigby in the black, Temple the slick southpaw in the blue and white stripes. Rigby simply cannot afford to lose this. He was very fired up at yesterday's weigh-in, but Temple, who may only have won half of his bouts, is a good technical operator and the type that may just give Rigby an extremely difficult night. Just add to the equation that Temple looked cut to perfection on the scales, and he is desperate to resurrect his wavering career. A cagey start. What should the tactics be, Jim?
Well, I would imagine Rigby is the one fancied to get his career back on track again. He has to pressurise Temple. Temple, a very smooth operator. Temple, one of these guys whose record doesn't really reflect his abilities and his talent. But unfortunately, anytime he's faced the top boys, he's come off second. But you can't allow him to box at his own pace. He's very slick, very clever. So sooner or later, Rigby's going to have to start pressurising him, draw him into a little bit of a war.
Alan Temple, very erratic. He's won 10 and lost 10. And if you go back to the spring of 1992, when they were both 18-year-olds, Rigby lost his professional debut in a 6x2s, and Alan Temple was the ABA featherweight champion and an England amateur international. Yet it's Rigby who is looking to regain his British lightweight title, and Temple desperate for any win he can get. Has won 3 of the last 6, Temple. He told me last night he's still got British title ambitions. Boxing News, the trade paper, rates Rigby at 7 and Temple at 11. It could be close.
Rigby rushing in a little bit. He's going to have to think what he's doing, lunging in, trying to lead with a hook, and he hasn't found the range yet. He wants to get his jab working before he starts thinking about hooks. Some nice defensive boxing in the first round from Temple.
Yes, he switched southpaw. I noticed Rigby there. Got to get to grips with Temple. They haven't met before. Welcome back to the Hillsborough Leisure Centre here in Sheffield. Manchester's Wayne Rigby, out of Bob Shannon's gym, on a comeback trail against Alan Temple. Not the best first round for Rigby.
Second down, round 2.
Second of 8 in the lightweight division. Alan Temple there on the left of your screens, the awkward southpaw. Doesn't carry a lot of power, but he's very neat and organised. In the blue and white stripes, Wayne Rigby, the rugged aggressor, likes working the body in the black, fitness fanatic. Very likeable chap, Wayne Rigby, underneath that rough-looking exterior. He's a charming man who fought back from family problems and financial ruin to win the British title, only to lose it in the very same year to Bobby Vanzi. He told me his friends deserted him when he lost that belt. Mentally, he needs to readdress. This is crucial for him.
Well, it's only early days, but at the moment the pace suits Temple. Temple, slick boxers, he's just picking Rigby off, so not with clean shots, but they were landing on the forehead then. But as I say, this pace suits him. Rigby really has to raise the pace, really has to break Temple's rhythm.
Looks like small swellings to Wayne Rigby's eyes, just underneath both, but he does mark up very easily, so don't be too put off by that. Temple just using his skills better.
Yep, and Rigby's giving him the time to do just that. Rigby has to hot things up a little bit.
He is back at his natural weight, Alan Temple. He got to light welter where he was badly stopped by Eamon McGee in Belfast a while back in 3 rounds, but he said McGee was 10-11 and he was 10-3, and that just wasn't fair, but he took it for the payday. This is his division. Brilliant amateur, Temple. 2-time ABA champion, just hasn't converted to the professional game. You can see he's well schooled though, Jim.
Yep, he really has been boxing so well in the first couple of rounds. As I said earlier, the pace suits him. Rigby's style suits him. Rigby hasn't done anything clever whatsoever so far. He's still trying to find the range, but he's doing everything at kind of half-speed pace, so he has to move up a gear. You don't really want... Oh, there's a lovely body shot. That could be the big problem tonight.
Lovely left hand to the body. The bell goes. The count continues, and Alan Temple goes back to his corner, but after a tricky start from Wayne Rigby, he found that left to the body. Beautiful shot.
Yep. Well, Temple well on his way, and McCarthy picking up the round, and then one punch has turned it all around. They dropped him on the deck and swung the point scoring completely the other way. As you know, we score big on knockdowns. It was a lovely punch. But that is really what Rigby has to do. He has to get close, use his strength, use his ruggedness and his power. And that's the first real good body shot he's thrown, and look at the result. Bang, behind the elbow, no muscle there to take the power of the punch, bang onto the rib cage, and took all the wind out of Alan's sails.
The 13th time Temple has been floored in his career, but he often gets up to win or take it the distance. Third round between Wayne Rigby from Manchester and Alan Temple from Hartlepool. Rigby in black, Temple in the blue and white stripes. Temple hurt down in the second round, having made a very nice, skillful start. Rigby caught up with him with a left to the body, and how he loves those body shots, Wayne Rigby. Models himself on Marvin Hagler in the gym, writes the name of his opponent on his gloves and on the walls of his house. Totally dedicated, Wayne Rigby. Alan Temple was floored in his very first contest to Steve Lightning Bolt back in '94, and he got up to stop Bolt in the second.
That's the thing with Temple, Adam. He's been on the floor several times, as you mentioned, and it doesn't really change his plan any. Some kids panic, never been there before, start thinking their world is caving in, but he copes with it back. It's only one round behind him, he gets on with the job, and that's what he's doing here.
Do you think, though, that the bell came at just the right time?
Yeah, because it didn't look as though if the box on instruction had been given, I don't think he had the breath to finish the round. If there had been half a minute or so, I think Rigby could have forced a stoppage. But that's behind us now, he's got himself back into it again. Still Rigby struggling to find the range.
And that eye swelling up just underneath the eye, the upper cheekbone of Wayne Rigby.
He has very prominent cheekbones. He's being picked off as he comes forward. See, he's just almost coming into punching range and stopping, and Temple's picking him off. Temple a far smarter boxer. Rigby has to raise the pace, get this fellow under pressure.
He may be a little rusty, Wayne Rigby. He did have a bad shoulder injury which kept him out for a few months, and he came back with a war with Mark McGowan, one of Chris Sanagar's young fighters, in July. A real tear-up. Rigby said he doesn't want too many more of those. He wants to use his boxing skills. But Temple has got plenty of those.
We're back into that little routine again that suits Temple. The pace has dropped. He's getting a chance to pick Rigby off. Rigby just coming into punching range but not getting his punches off quick enough and picked off.
Yes, he's done well, Alan Temple, to come back. But there's the left body shot again from Rigby. A little wince from Temple, but he held it this time. Back to Sheffield. Lightweight contest, interesting here. And the rankings. Jim Watt, what do you think? There's some good names there, aren't there? Billy Schwer at the top.
Yeah, but I don't see anybody below Rigby who you say maybe should be above him. So that's about fair. Rigby number 6. Yeah, there's some decent talent in that division.
Fourth round. And Wayne Rigby looking to get up amongst those top lightweights. Stephen Smith and Bobby Vanzy due to meet later on in the year. They've both got warm-up fights on Monday. And Billy Schwer waiting for that world title chance against the brilliant Stevie Johnston in the WBC division. Rigby trying to rebuild. He had that knockdown in the second round, but Temple has gone back to his boxing and looks comfortable doing that.
Rigby seems stuck in second gear, I'm afraid. He doesn't seem able to raise the pace. Look, he's got very prominent cheekbones, and you can see the amount of jabs that he's taken because they're both looking really swollen. He's going for the body shots now, but Temple sees them coming.
Yes, he covered up nicely there, Alan Temple. Rigby going for the shots he knows will do damage. But he's got to get close enough. And Temple was a well-schooled amateur when he turned professional. A lot of fuss was made about him. Could have become a Billy Schwer. Frank Maloney thought big things, but he lost a couple of early fights. Nice right hand in there. And Rigby looks a little confused by this style.
He's been outboxed, Adam, yeah, and the problem is he only seems half at it himself. He's not prepared to move up the gears and get this fellow under pressure. If you allow someone with the talent of Alan Temple to work at his own pace, he'll enjoy outboxing. You really have to shut him down, put him under pressure. Rigby is the one with the strength and the punching power, but he's not been using those.
You see the strength there. He forced Temple back from a jab. There's a slight nick on his nose, Rigby.
This is as good as I've seen Alan Temple box. I've seen him putting up good shows and then suddenly just crumbling. But no signs of him crumbling apart from that one shot knockdown in the second round and a terrific body shot. He really has looked very comfortable tonight.
Yes, Temple boxing well. He boxed brilliantly against Billy Schwer despite losing in 8 rounds in October '96. Normally when he stepped up to that big level, he's been beaten in the final eliminator to Tanvir Ahmed, who Rigby won the title off. And he lost in 3 to Vanzy and 2 to Michael Ayres.
He's boxing so well, he's using his feet as Rigby comes forward, not really putting his heart and soul into what he's doing. He's picking him off, stepping back, picking him off. Lovely boxing.
Football for you tomorrow. 4 games in all. We start at 12 noon. Sky Sports 2, Cheltenham against Shrewsbury. Sky Sports 1 at 3, Bradford against Spurs. At 6, Kilmarnock against Celtic. And on Sky Sports Extra at 6, Atletico Madrid against Celta Vigo. And if you're watching on Sky Digital, interactive coverage of the games at Cheltenham and Bradford, also available on Sky Sports Extra.
5th round, Wayne Rigby in the black shorts from Manchester, Alan Temple in the blue and white from Hartlepool. And Rigby knows he can hurt Temple. He had him down in the second. But Temple has been boxing very well. As Jim says, probably the best we've seen from him.
Yeah, definitely. For me, Rigby's really struggling tonight. The only round I've given him was the round of the knockdown. And I didn't score that 10-8 because I thought he was losing that until the final punch of the round dropped Temple. So I've just scored that 10-9 in his favour. So on my card, he's struggling. And in the ring, he also seems to be struggling.
But Rigby likes the sort of middle rounds where he can get on top of a fighter that's slightly weakened and apply his pressure. Again, turns southpaw, something I haven't seen from Wayne Rigby before, have you?
No, I haven't seen that, and I think maybe he's just trying to come up with something different because what he's been doing is not working. But a fighter like Rigby, he should be using the first 4 rounds, even if he's not winning them, to take steam out of the other guy, pressurise him, make him work, and then he starts leaning on him in the last half of the fight. But the first 4 rounds, he's allowed Temple to do exactly as he please, work as he please, and in my card, notch up a little healthy lead.
Yes, Wayne Rigby needs to come up with something a little different. He could have a shot at Michael Ayres next month. Maybe he's looking a little bit too far ahead. He's got a difficult job in front of him. Alan Temple, but a nice right hand, and Temple was shaken briefly, but took it well again. He can hurt him.
Yeah, well, I think in a different fight, that punch might have knocked Temple over. But I think he's really up tonight. He knows he's doing well. He knows he's great chances here of victory. And sometimes punches that would normally put you on the deck, when you're up and the adrenaline's flowing, you take the shot, because that was a lovely punch he took, and he took it bang on.
Yes, he's become the opponent, Alan Temple, but he could turn that around here. It will be a big win for him if he could take even a decision over Wayne Rigby.
Rigby getting a little bit closer now. His work is still very, very scrappy and untidy. But he's getting closer to Temple. Not making it pay, but getting closer. Still picked off again.
Out of range again, Wayne Rigby. Temple doing some nice work. Encouragement from his corner. They've stuck by him, George Bowes and Peter Cope from Hartlepool, when he had bad times, Alan Temple. Back to Wayne Rigby against Alan Temple at lightweight. Rigby having some success. Jim?
Yeah, that was a lovely right-hand punch, and as I said at the time, I think Temple has gone on the floor to punch. He's not as good as that, but he's up here. Really fancies the job, and I still had him winning that round. Nice little spell for Rigby in the middle. But I thought over the 3 minutes, Temple's work was better.
More success for Alan Temple on the punch stats and on Jim's scorecard. Temple in the blue and white, Rigby in the black. From Manchester, Rigby trying to revive his career that fell apart with a 10th round stoppage last year against Bradford's slippery Bobby Vanzi. This slippery Alan Temple has been giving him the same sort of problems. He just cannot get to grips with Temple's style.
Rigby has the look of a boxer who maybe hasn't had enough sparring or hasn't had the right sparring. Just lacks sharpness, and everything about him is kind of sluggish. He can't get into punching range without getting hit. His technique seems to be letting him down, and he's not prepared just to sail in the way he has done in other fights and just throw caution to the wind and have a real punch up. He's not even been prepared to do that. Temple still being allowed to box at his own pace and really boxing so well.
More markings to the nose of Wayne Rigby. It has not been an easy night for him. Both fighters were so fired up at the weigh-in. Rigby saying he cannot afford to lose this. But he's trained too hard and too long.
Well, I don't doubt he's trained hard, but I just wonder, has the sparring been sufficient? Has it been the right kind of sparring? Because his timing's off, technique's gone, and he just seems to be lost. He just can't seem to get started. Missing with so many punches. Reflexes are not what they should be. He's just kind of lost his way, and the longer this fight is going, no improvement in Rigby's work.
His friend Michael Gomez, who took the British super featherweight title last week, and Rigby was so happy, and he said it's going to spur him on tonight. He just doesn't seem to have been able to settle at all. Goes back to the body where he hurt Temple in the second round. Can he get to him again?
I mean, Temple virtually unmarked, Adam. Not a mark on his face. Look at Rigby, he's been taking everything as he comes forward. Just
remind you of the Vanzi fight.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I don't want to keep saying that you know, Rigby's boxing badly. We have to give Temple a lot of credit. He's boxed so well. The timing's been good, the technique's been good. He's taken a couple of full-blooded shots, but taking them to come back.
Good work from Alan Temple. And backstage, there's Clinton Woods, the Commonwealth light heavyweight champion, about to make the second defence of his title against Lennox Lewis, and he doesn't think it will be an easy night.
I think first few rounds might be a bit tough. It looks like he's very fit and looks like he's in shape. He's going to come banging at me, but I think after about 6-7 rounds, I think I'll end up stopping him.
So there's Clinton Woods, ready to make the first appearance of a long time in front of his Sheffield crowd. That's coming up shortly. Back at ringside, an interesting lightweight battle. Wayne Rigby and Alan Temple. Have a look at the punches landed. Look at the total for Temple, Jim.
Yeah, but and that's reflected in my scorecard. I really feel that Wayne Rigby has not even got started tonight, apart from a beautiful left hook to the body in the second round, where he's dropped Temple. I've given virtually every other, I think actually I've given every other round to Temple, boxing so well.
Rigby has to come up with something different. That's the way you've got it. 4 rounds up to Alan Temple, the erratic southpaw from Hartlepool, who is putting up one of his best displays in his 5-year career. Terrific amateur, and it seems that's what he's done tonight, just used his technical skills and kept out the way of Rigby's power.
But Rigby hasn't even shown any tremendous power, apart from the knockdown punch, a couple of decent right hands, which should have rocked Temple but didn't. But I think his timing's off, and you don't generate the power if the timing's not there.
Still looking for that left to the body though, Wayne Rigby. How does he get to Temple?
Well, he's trying to box his way in, but his timing and his technique are letting him down. He has to get close to be effective, so he just has to march straight in right through what Temple's doing and let the punches go. But he doesn't seem to have the desire to do that tonight. He still wants to do it the smart way, still trying to pick his way in with little prodding jabs, just trying to nudge close. He can't do it. It hasn't worked so far. We're in round 7. He has to march forward and just let with all guns blazing, just let the punches flow. But no signs that he can manage that.
He's had such a strange career, Wayne Rigby. Looked nothing at the beginning, took some time out, came back, put together some wins, beat Tanvir Ahmed for the British title, defended against Matt Brown, sent him into retirement, lost to Vanzi. Maybe that was a big, big defeat. Maybe it's taken something out of him. Alan Temple is just looking to capitalise on that and look after his own future, which he can keep alive with a win here in Sheffield tonight.
I don't quite know what's wrong with Rigby. I mean, if it's a ring rust, they would have worked that off by now. It's like a kind of staleness about his movement. He's no idea what he wants to try and do. There's no real purpose in any of attacks. He's just going through the motions, always that little bit out of range of for his own work had been picked off by Temple, who's boxing beautifully.
Yes, maybe reminiscent of another old Sheffield fighter, Harold Graham. Just lovely, taking his time.
Yeah, but not as unorthodox. I mean, what he's doing is textbook stuff. You can't think of a reason why Rigby can't get close. I mean, he's not running, he's not boxing negatively, he's not thinking about defence, he's just putting up a beautiful boxing display, staying in range, but his work is so much sharper, so much better than Rigby's.
The bell to end the 7th round, and another one to Alan Temple, who is fighting the fight of his life here. Does Rigby have to stop him?
Yeah, well, on my card, definitely, yes. Probably has to stop him twice on my card, I think, because I have him so far behind. But he's done nothing right tonight. I don't know if the referee's seeing this the same way I'm seeing it, but I'll be very surprised if you can have a little... Well, there you go. But it's the fact that Rigby's work has been so poor from first round right up to now. He's only seemed half at it, his attitude's not right. It's as though he's got something in his mind and he just can't get his mind on the job, whereas Temple the exact opposite.
I wonder if Wayne Rigby has been looking too far ahead. He was told last night at the weigh-in that he was going to get a world title shot against Michael Ayres if he won this, but he has to win it, and on your scorecard he's 5 rounds down. Final round of 8 at lightweight. Crucial for Wayne Rigby to throw everything at Alan Temple and try and stop the man from Hartlepool, who has boxed a sensible fight and is looking to cause quite a big upset here.
See, Temple has never been under any real pressure. Rigby's tried to come forward, he's tried to land punches from long range, but nothing that he's done has really seriously troubled Temple, apart from the punch that caused the knockdown. And when Rigby misses with a left-hand lead, he's all over the place. There's nothing sharp about what he's doing. When he makes a mistake, he's punished for every mistake because he's lacking sharpness. He can't recover from his mistakes.
I mean, many people have called Temple a fancy Dan. He lost a decision to Jason Rowland and David Burke at super featherweight. Do you think this has finally a good professional showing from Temple?
Of course, yeah. I mean, he's always had the talent, and he's only lost it to the best guys, remember. His chin has let him down a couple of times. Sometimes he's not maybe as strong as you would like a fighter to be. But technique-wise and talent-wise, definitely top drawer. And Wayne Rigby has allowed him to use his technique and his talent, never pressurise him, let him work at his own pace. And he's produced some lovely boxing. Always, even these little exchanges, the punches are not too hard, but he always has the last word.
Rigby really has struggled here through the 8 rounds. He did knock Temple down in the 2nd round, and if the bell hadn't saved the man from Hartlepool, who knows what would have happened, but it did. And the last few rounds, as Jim has rightly said, have been vintage Alan Temple. Remember, he's won 10 and lost 10, Temple. And Rigby has won 15 of his 19 and was expected to win this clearly, if not stop Temple, to go on to bigger and better things. But it could be Temple that has the chance now to go on to fight for even a British title.
And in the last round, would you think Rigby would give it all he has? He doesn't have anything. He's still been outboxed, and the Temple just putting the clincher on an excellent display on my card. He's doing exactly as he's done all the way along. If he just walked in here this moment and didn't know who was in the ring, you would think Temple was already a champion. Really, championship form he's showing tonight.
Seems fresher as well, even at the end of 8. The performance by Noel Wilders a few weeks ago against A.D. Lewis, which was a bit like that. Lewis just couldn't get into the fight, and that's what's happened here with Rigby.
That's exactly right. See, everything's flowing from Temple. He's not forced anything, and won on my card by a mile.
A fantastic win for Alan Temple from Hartlepool. He's tipped the balance in favour. 11 wins against 10 defeats, and a nightmare for Wayne Rigby from Manchester, who was hoping for a world title fight. A terrible, terrible disappointment for Rigby, but he just couldn't get going. And Alan Temple, the stylish fighter from Hartlepool, who has never fully found his professional mark, has tonight. Look at that success rate, shots landed, Jim.
Remember, Adam, Steve Robinson a few years ago didn't win too many fights on the way up. Suddenly, overnight, he seemed to become a world-class fighter, and look at the career he had. I'm not comparing Alan Temple, but he certainly has as much talent as Steve Robinson, and who knows, maybe a win like this could really turn his career around.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 8 rounds of boxing, referee Keith Garner has scored the contest. For Rigby, 74 points. For Temple, 78 points. Your winner, the pride of the Northeast from Hartlepool, Alan Temple. And please show your appreciation for a very game boxer indeed, a former British lightweight champion, Wayne Rigby.
Rule 1 in boxing, never take anything for granted. Never look beyond the job in front of you. A lesson, if he hears about this result in the arena, that Clinton Woods backstage would do well to remember. Woods next tonight in our top of the bill. Big night for him, defending his Commonwealth light heavyweight title. Woods against Lewis coming up shortly. Well, what an upset we've had tonight in our first live fight. It was all looking...
Congratulations, if you'd lost tonight, you would have become a journeyman. You've won, it's revived your career.
Yeah, thanks very much. But like I say, if I'd got beat tonight, we'd have come back. I'm no journeyman. I've took them all on, the best ones, the light welterweights, the welters, in Ian McGee. We've done it the hard way from the north, but we've come strong back now.
Bar the knockdown, he couldn't get near you, could he?
No, that was the idea. Wayne is a very, very good close water fighter, and he's very strong. He hit me quite a few times with a body shot, but I kept my composure, listened to me corner men, and done the job.
What's the plan now? I mean, Rigby was going to maybe fight Michael Ayres, or there's Bobby Vanzi and Stephen Smith. Where are you looking at now, Alan?
I don't know, 2 weeks ago today I was in Tenerife. You know, I wasn't fit. I got 10 days notice for this contest. I mean, I'm not one for telling porkies, but I got 10 days notice for this fight. I hadn't trained 3 weeks before this contest. And with the help of Gus and me trainer George and Peter Cole, we've done the job.
You can become British champion, you think, still?
Most certainly. Look how Bobby Vanzi, we come again.
Well done tonight, Alan.
Thanks very much.